And we shouldn't get bullied into believing that people can be any sex they want to be. They can't. A man is a man and a woman is a woman. That's just common sense.
Do you believe that men can get pregnant?
No, I don't think women can get
So you are
pregnant.
denying that trans people exist?
And that leads to violence? Is this how you run your classroom? Are students allowed to question you?
Absolutely.
Or are they also treated like this, where
No,
they're
they're
told
allowed
that they're
to question.
opening up people to violence?
We have a good
by
time in my
questioning?
class. You should join.
Oh, I bet.
You might learn a lot.
If all you're doing is casting stones, you're probably not going to get that far. That's easy to do.
Here are 7 times politicians destroyed a woke culture, starting off with Senator Markwayne Mullin takes on a witness with dreams of banning plastics and leaves her scrambling for answers.
Thank you, Chairman. Ms. Bradford, in your testimony, did I understand you right? So that you want to end all plastic manufacturing?
I said the plastics industry must be stopped.
So does that mean end plastic manufacturing?
I mean, in my dream world, sure, but I think that, go ahead.
Yes, the woke dream world where plastic disappears overnight and everything magically works out. Unfortunately for her, the senator is wide awake and ready to expose just how impractical her fantasy really is.
Like,
So
why
I
would you
do
wear your
know,
glasses around your face? They're made of plastic.
maybe.
No,
I don't know what they're made out of.
They are. What about, and I'm just pointing out some things here because I just want to be realistic when we're having conversations, because when statements are made like this, I just want to open people's eyes and say, well, okay, that's easy to say, but what's the solution? Your water bottle in front of you.
This one?
Yes. That plastic?
No.
The lid is. That's plastic.
Right. So
Right.
I would say to your
cell phone-
question that I would first be concerned about single-use plastics, and then we can talk about alternatives to this.
Your cell phone there. Is it plastic?
The cases, but it's glass because I broke
Oh, the components
the
inside of it's
screen
not
yesterday.
plastic? The components made out of it's not plastic? Yeah, they are. The water that you filled that water bottle up with.
Mullin's strategy here is chef's kiss. He doesn't just call her out, he forces her to face the absurdity of her own argument.
So we talk about any plastic manufacturing, and everybody in here cheers when you say that, but everybody here is depending on plastic as you set. So if you want to end it, then quit using it. It's kind of like I don't shop at certain places right now because I don't agree with some of their policies. I choose not to do that. You can choose to not use plastic. Do your work. If you believe it, then live it that way. And if not, then tell me what the solution is.
But he is not alone when he discards the witness's dream. Even experts side with him.
What is it that we're manufacturing that doesn't have plastic in it today?
Nothing, and you know what? It would increase the cost of everything if we turn to an alternative, and it would disproportionately impact low-income people who have lower incomes. It would be another regressive tax on the poor.
So, according to your testimony, Ms. Jackson, it sounds like you're saying that the environmental justice agenda does more harm than good for low-income families. Is that correct?
Yes.
Mullin isn't just shutting down her argument, he's exposing the woke agenda's dirty little secret. They claim to fight for the underprivileged, but their policies do the exact opposite.
So we need to make sure that when we're talking about these issues, we take into account the human loss of life, not just the environmental impacts.
Thank you. Thanks for indulging.
But it doesn't stop there. Senator Josh Hawley confronts a witness who accuses him of transphobia, and things get heated.
You've referred to people with a capacity for pregnancy. Would that be women?
Many women, cis women, have the capacity for pregnancy. Many cis women do not have the capacity for pregnancy. There are also trans men who are capable of pregnancy, as well as non-binary people who are capable of pregnancy.
So this isn't really a women's rights issue.
We can recognize that this impacts women while also recognizing that it impacts other groups. Those things are not mutually exclusive, Senator Hawley.
Oh, so your view is that the core of this right then is about what?
So I want to recognize that your line of questioning is transphobic, and it opens up trans people to violence by not recognizing.
Leave it to the wokies to turn a simple question into a lecture on woke vocabulary. This is peak mental gymnastics.
Wow, you're saying that I'm opening up people to violence by asking whether or not women are the folks who can have pregnancies?
So I want to note that 1 out of 5 transgender persons have attempted suicide. So I think it's important
Because of my line of questioning?
Because,
so we can't talk about it?
Because denying that trans people exist.
This is Woke Logic 101. Dodge the question, play the victim, and hope no one notices. Spoiler alert, they noticed.
And pretending not to know that they exist.
I'm denying that trans people exist by asking you if you're talking about women having pregnancies?
Do you believe that men can get pregnant?
No, I don't think women can get
So you are denying that trans people exist?
If you thought this was chaotic, you are wrong. It gets even worse.
And that leads to violence? Is this how you run your classroom? Are students allowed to question you?
Absolutely.
Or are they also treated like this, where
No,
they're told that they're opening up people to violence?
We have a good time in my class. You should join.
Oh, I bet.
You might learn a lot.
Wow, I would learn a lot. I've learned a lot just in this exchange.
Absolutely.
Extraordinary.
Ollie's classroom retort lands perfectly. No raised voice, just the absurdity speaking for itself. And it's not just biology under fire. Next up, Rishi Sunak steps up with a blunt perspective on gender identity. No word games, no dodging, just pure, unapologetic common sense.
And it also shouldn't be controversial for parents to know what their children are being taught in school about relationships. Patients should know when hospitals are talking about men or women. And we shouldn't get bullied. And we shouldn't get bullied into believing that people can be any sex they want to be. They can't. A man is a man and a woman is a woman. That's just common sense.
This is where Sunak delivers a reality check that hits like a hammer. In a world where stating the obvious has become radical, he's standing firm on facts and refusing to cater to the loudest voices. It's leadership that doesn't flinch, and honestly, it's refreshing. But that's just the beginning. Next up, a simple word ignites a full-on meltdown in Virginia's state chamber, but Lieutenant Governor Winsome Sears holds her ground with grace.
The senator may state it.
Madam President, how many votes would it take to pass this bill with the emergency clause?
That would be 4/5, Senator.
And what would be the exact number for that, Madam President?
Yes, sir, that would be 32. The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no.
A routine discussion turns tense when Sears addresses Senator Danica Roem as sir, but Sears doesn't flinch.
I said something that upset Senator Roem. Let it be known, I am not here to upset anyone. I am here to do the job that the people of Virginia have called me to do, and that is to treat everyone with respect and dignity. I myself have at times not been afforded that same respect and dignity.
This is woke culture in action, making mountains out of molehills. While others turn up the drama, Sears proves that staying focused and composed is the real power move. And now it's time for a reality check. Let's see how Barack Obama steps in to dismantle the shallow performative side of woke culture with a critique so sharp it leaves no room for excuses.
This idea of purity and you're never compromised and you're always politically woke and all that stuff, you should get over that quickly. The world is messy. There are ambiguities. Yep. People who do really good stuff have flaws. People who you are fighting may love their kids. And, you know,
this is Obama at his sharpest, cutting through the noise to address the performative nature of modern woke culture. And let's be honest, he's not wrong.
But I do get a sense sometimes now among certain young people, and this is accelerated by social media, there is this sense sometimes of the way of me making change is to be as judgmental as possible about other people. And that's enough. Like if I tweet or hashtag about how you didn't do something right, or used the wrong verb, then I can sit back and feel pretty good about myself. Because, man, you see how woke I was? I called you out. I'm going to get on TV, watch my show, watch Grownish. You know, that's not activism. That's not bringing about change. You know, if all you're doing is casting stones, you know, you're probably not going to get that far. That's easy to do.
This is Obama at his finest, pulling no punches and holding up a mirror to an entire generation. It's not activism, it's self-righteousness, and he calls it out without breaking a sweat. Talk about a mic drop moment. Obama dismantles cancel culture, the woke mob's favorite pastime, with pure common sense. But if you thought Obama's critique was sharp, things are about to get intense. Senator Ted Cruz grills a Biden-nominated judge with questions that leave no room for ambiguity.
Well, Judge Netburn, I'm going to continue on this line of questioning. In your court, what matters more? The rights of individuals or your political ideology?
I apply the law to the facts.
I asked a question, which matters more?
Well, my political ideology doesn't matter at all.
Okay, so I don't believe you. And I think this case demonstrates that you are willing to subjugate the rights of individuals to satisfy your political ideology.
It's incredible how ideology always seems to take priority over logic with these woke nominees. Cruz doesn't just poke holes in her argument, he exposes how flimsy it really is.
This case involves a male defendant who raped a 9-year-old boy. Was he guilty of that?
Yes, the petitioner pled guilty to that.
Okay, so he raped a 9-year-old boy. He also raped a 17-year-old girl. Was he guilty of that?
He pled guilty. The petitioner pled guilty to that crime as well.
So was he guilty?
I hope so, because she pled guilty to it.
He was a he when he did this.
That's correct.
And also criminal deviant conduct, which the record doesn't disclose what that was exactly. Then, after serving in prison, Mr. McClain was released for parole, but then violated the terms of parole by having internet and was sent back to prison. 1 year after being released again, he was convicted of having child pornography. Is that correct?
I'm unclear on exactly the time frame that you're at, but the petitioner was convicted of distributing child pornography.
Child pornography that was images of adults violently raping children.
And this is where woke logic truly falls apart. Cruz lays it out perfectly. The woke agenda is willing to sacrifice common sense for ideological points.
When this man decided that he was a she, you said this individual was, quote, I wrote it down, sober and entirely a female. That phrase struck me as remarkable. Did this individual have male genitalia?
I think what I said, or at least what
that is a verbatim quote, entirely a female.
Sorry, what I meant to say was hormonally a female.
Okay, but that's not entirely. Did this individual have male genitalia?
Yes.
So you took a 6'2" serial rapist, serial child rapist with male genitalia, and he said, you know, I'd like to be in a women's prison. And your answer was, that sounds great to me. Let me ask you something. The other women in that prison, do they have any rights?
Is that a question you're asking me?
Yes, the other women in that prison, do they have any rights?
Of course.
Do they have the right not to have a 6'2" man who is a repeat serial rapist put in as their cellmate?
The absurdity is jaw-dropping. A judge meant to uphold justice dismisses basic safety for women, doubling down instead of addressing the issue. Cruz's frustration is absolutely justified.
Thank you, Judge Netburn. Senator Padilla.
That's directly contrary to what your report
you all
said.
have
That
had
is directly
No.
We're going to follow up, and that's how it works.
There is not.
That is exactly how it works.
Look,
if you follow up, you didn't get extra time, and she just directly contradicted her own report. I'm just going to read her own words because it's exactly the opposite of what she said. Your own report.
Senators, I gave both of you more time to finish your line of questioning. I allowed the witness to finish her. I allowed the witness to finish her response. I allowed the witness to finish her response. That is,
I understand that you're scared of the facts.
I have status.
This isn't just a debate, it's a wake-up call. Cruz exposes how woke policies don't just fail, they actively put people at risk. And the fact that the judge can't defend her own reasoning says it all.
Madam Chair, Madam Chair, she has an obligation to explain why she directly contradicted what she wrote in her report. She says in her report, the Bureau of Prisons' claimed penological interest is in protecting female prisoners from violence and trauma. She just told you the Bureau of Prisons didn't say there was a concern about sexual violence and trauma.
But the debate over woke policies doesn't stop there. Pierre Poilievre faces tough questions on puberty blockers for kids, and his unapologetic response leaves woke activists speechless.
Do you support age restrictions for puberty blockers and hormone therapies for trans kids?
I think that Justin Trudeau is trying to divide and distract Canadians by spreading disinformation about the decisions that premiers and parents are making.
What do you think? What do you think?
This is the kind of clarity the woke crowd hates. Poilievre doesn't just sidestep their narrative, he dismantles it, exposing how these debates often serve as smokescreens for real political failures.
Puberty blockers for minors?
Do you agree with that?
Do you agree with that?
I think that we should protect children and their ability to make adult decisions when they are adults.
So you think only adults should make you said yes? Just to be clear, you said yes, only adults should take puberty blockers?
I think we should protect children, let them make adult decisions when they become adults.
So you do support age restrictions?
You are against.
It's almost shocking how controversial basic common sense has become. Protecting kids from irreversible decisions shouldn't even be a debate, but here we are, all thanks to the wokies.
Justin Trudeau is again puffing out his chest, trying to divide Canadians and attack parents who are trying to protect their kids. He will, in the end, back down on this, just like he had to back down on his firearms policy, just like he had to back down on bringing in medical assistance in dying for people suffering from mental illness, just like he's backing down again and again and again. He will back down on this because he is not interested in protecting kids. He's interested in using this as a divisive wedge to distract from doubling housing costs and quadrupling carbon taxes on our people.
But you're against puberty blockers for kids under the age of 18. What about opting in?
Yes, I am.
What about parents in Alberta having to opt in for where do you stand
every
on that?
lesson?
No, that's a decision for the province.
So which moment left you speechless? Let us know in the comments and don't forget to subscribe.